Good afternoon to you. It is Sunday, February 1st at 2:51 p.m. 6 minutes, 9 seconds remain in the Purdue-Maryland game. Purdue is up by 30. I thought I was safe to come live and start my post game early. Thanks to you guys are already here. Appreciate it. I think we can also say Purdue will safely. And I was wrong, by the way, last post game. I kept saying 17-3. Purdue was 17-4 coming into today. Big block by Clough. And they're going to be now 18-4 after this win. 5:57 left. Omer Meyer has the ball dribbling left side. Purdue's really taking a lot of time off the clock. Oh, boy. Darn it. They dumped it into Clough, who was fouled before he got to the hoop. Clough has had a bit of a quiet game today. And he's not alone in being quiet, but I have some notes on the things that really stood out to me. I'm going to talk about him in a second, and I'm going to wind the game down with you as I go through the box score. But before I do it, I want to thank the good folks at Home Field Apparel. Head over to homefieldapparel.com, grab a sweatshirt, a jacket, a hat. The knit sweater with the block B. I keep telling people that's the way to go. And I have not had one sent to me yet by any of you. I would appreciate it. Sooner the better, because we're going to start turning the corner. It's going to start getting warm, even though it's, 7 outside? 15 outside. Okay, so it's warmed up. It is very sunny, and it kind of reminds you spring's coming. So homefieldapparel.com. Also, boy, Buzz Williams' shoes are unbelievably bad. Looks like he's wearing pale pink patent leather to go along with the breast cancer awareness day in Maryland. Also, when you're at Mackey Arena and Purdue has just rolled through an opponent, what do? Well, you leave. Maybe you leave a couple minutes early so you can go beat the crowd and grab yourself burgers, beef, or beer. When you get a pint at AJ's. When you get to the fire station, you turn left, you'll see AJ's there. And when you get that pint on game day, at the bottom of it, there'll be a magnet that has Boiled Sports on it. So you get to have the best staff treat you. You get to have the best food on campus, no doubt about that. And then you get a freebie, a magnet with Boiled Sports on it. You can't beat it. EatAJ's.com, burgers, beef, beer. That's AJ's. AJ's by the fire station. All right, so Purdue is still up by 30 now they're up by just 28 with 4:49 left. Omer Meyer is playing the point. I don't think we'll see Braden Smith again. So that means Smith's numbers are capped. Let me get a refresh on this page real quick. Smith's numbers are capped, and I think he finishes with 6 assists. I haven't double-checked that yet. But, yeah, Smith finishes with 19 points, 6 assists, 2 rebounds, just 1 turnover. So that 6-to-1 number, that's what you're really looking for as a Purdue fan, is not just what assists are happening, but what's the assist-to-turnover ratio. It's quite good for Smith today. He doesn't get to his average, which is 9 assists a game. He's been off his average most of the games the last 4. But Purdue stops that painful losing streak at just 3. When I say just 3, I say that because last year Purdue lost 4 straight. And lest we forget that we've been through this. It doesn't feel good, and it surely doesn't feel good because of the expectations being sky high coming into the season. But the whole question, every loss that I watch with Purdue, I ask, what do you do with it? And for a while, it looked like Purdue wasn't going to do much with it. It wasn't going to change, wasn't going to play much more resolute. But today, simple things happen that Purdue needs. Okay, first one, the fast start was a big deal. I said that. I think Purdue was up 10-2 to start the game. They really didn't let off the gas the whole game. As you can see right now, they're down by, Meyer gets fouled 32 feet from the basket by Maryland's Mills. But the big thing was you said, okay, with Purdue getting up by 15, 20 points in the first half, would they keep their foot on the gas? Because they've had a hard time with that. Not only getting leads, keeping leads, continuing to play hard when they went on a run, not letting off generally. And today they did that. So that was a big point for me. Next thing is the dynamic duo of Smith and Lawyer. I just told you Smith's numbers. In just 27 minutes, Smith had 19 points. He shot 4 of 6 from deep. Purdue's 3 ball was working today. They're going to finish the game probably up near 50%, 48% so far on 27 shots, 13 of 27. And then he had the great assist to turnover ratio Let's see, do you have, no steals. I thought he had 1 or 2 steals, and I think that might be an error. I think Foreman may have robbed Smith of 1 steal. At the same time, the other part of that dynamic duo was Fletch Lawyer. Also in 27 minutes of action, he had 29 points. He had 7 3-pointers, 7 of 10 from deep, 9 of 14 from the field. He had 2 rebounds to go along with that, 3 assists, and just 1 turnover. Lawyer looked good from the jump. He looked confident, and Maryland was giving him space. The last few games, was it 5 or 6 games? I think he's shot below 30% from deep. As I've said during this whole swoon that Lawyer's been having, there's a deep data set, and a guy that shoots up above 40% for his career will get back there. So now he would say, if water finds its level, he could have 5 or 6 games where he just goes on a tear. And this is absolutely a tear. Today, going 7 to 10 from deep, it looked easy for him. He was making pretty much every good shot he took, every shot that he had his feet under him that he took, he was hitting today. And he was hitting shots that made Maryland pay for double teams. That's plain and simple. The one bad thing that was happening in the first half, and a couple of my friends who text me during the game said they need somebody other than Smith and Lawyer to make some shots. By the way, it's 85-59. There's a break in the action, 3:31 left in the game. Like I said, I feel confident about going with the postgame, even though it's not over. I've done that a couple times in the last, year? I'm glad that you're tuned in. I am not on the screen where I can see who's here. But the ability for Smith and Lawyer to play confidently, making open shots was a big deal. But Smith, make no bones about it, was a bit different than Lawyer in that he made a couple threes with guys in his face. And Smith went 4 for 6 from deep. His statistical success points to how dominant of a player he could possibly be if he had a different mentality, meaning he is one of the best three-point shooters in the league. He is one of the best shooters from the floor in the league. He is the best point guard in the league with his assist to turnover ratio and just raw assist numbers. He's just good all over the floor, but he can't do it himself. I know I interrupted myself. I'm going to come back here. But Smith and Lawyer together, when they're playing well together, when they're in rhythm, it's really, really dangerous for other teams. Like I said today in the first half, Purdue had just the Smith and Lawyer show. One thing you saw also was TKR was grabbing very difficult rebounds. I say very difficult rebounds. Part of the reason that Lawyer was left open was Maryland was trying to pack in a little bit on both Clough and TKR. A lot of Trey Kaufman-Wren's rebounds, 10 rebounds in fact, were with 2 guys hanging on him. It wasn't just an easy rebound. It was the Trey Kaufman-Wren rebounding machine that we saw earlier in the season that came back. And you combine Trey Kaufman-Wren rebounding and hitting the glass so aggressively along with Lawyer knocking down open shots, and the other team, I don't care who it is going to be in trouble. Granted, Maryland's a bad team. They're 8-12 right now. And they look like an 8-12 team. This was a get-right game for Purdue by design. It looked like, hey, schedule is lined up pretty well. That didn't stop some people on Twitter from saying Purdue would lose their 4th straight. You heard it here first, in the books, that sort of thing. Because I did hear it, by the way. But Purdue is, like I said, going to go on to 18-4 on the season. On top of Trey Kaufman-Wren, you had C.J. Cox. Again, no turnovers, which it's an incredible stat. I don't think he's had a turnover in like 9 or 10 games, something ridiculous like that. He was quiet from the floor, but he had 4 boards. He had 2 assists. Really, really solid. Kaufman-Wren, on top of his 7 points, 10 rebounds, he also had 3 turnovers. That's not a big deal because kind of the nature of him. But he's, I think, this is a good sign for Purdue. He's the most guilty culprit of turning the ball over Purdue with just 3 turnovers, and that's a really, really good sign. Like I said, Clough had a quiet game. He's kind of woken up a little bit recently. Maryland had one of their semi-bigs. When I say semi-bigs, they don't have a ton of size, but one of their forward guards, I think Saunders is, I don't know how tall he is, but he doesn't look like a big guy, and he had a tough assignment. He fouled out with 14 minutes and 40-something seconds left in the second half. When you have that happen, usually it's a pretty good sign for one team because you're just dominating. Let's see. Both teams are in the super bonus right now, it looks like. And I think they're just trying to play the strand out. Purdue has had something that's really nice to see. Liam Murphy has played a lot today. He's been in for the last 3-4 minutes of this game. Right now you got a lineup of Murphy, Meyer, Jacobson, Harris, and I don't know who the fifth player is because I can't see the court. But Purdue's been able to do some things with the lineup that are good to see. Seeing guys getting minutes is really, really positive thing. Off the bench, Daniel Jacobson had a really solid game. They were trying to do everything they could. Jacobson is the fifth player in the game right now. What? I'm missing somebody. I did something wrong here. What's that? I said Meyer, didn't I? And Jack Benner is in. So I count 6. I think I counted 6. Murphy, Jacobson, Meyer, Harris, Enter. That's it. That's 5. Yeah, I've got a 1-person studio audience. My wife, it's in a rare position where she's watching the game close out and listen to me, and I know she doesn't like to listen to me, so God bless her. Let's see. Like I said, Daniel Jacobson, pretty solid off the bench. 18 minutes in counting. He's got 8 points, 4 boards. He's been beaten up pretty heavily. What just happened there? Okay. He's been beaten up. Like it was clear that Maryland was going to try to get physical with him. They earned a couple, in my opinion, a couple flagrants that weren't whistled as flagrants. So Harris just went up for a shot, was fouled by a Maryland player jumping onto his back, onto his shoulders, actually. And Harris will go to the free throw line here. With Purdue up 85-61 with 3 minutes left. I mean, I could get this thing done technically before the game is over. It's that much of an open shut case for Purdue. Omer Meyer plays a solid 15 minutes, 6 points, had a rebound, an assist, just 1 turnover. Jack Benner, quiet game for him in 11 minutes of action, but 3 boards. Jakari Harris, like I said, he has 9 points right now in 19-plus minutes. He's probably going to finish about with 21 minutes, I would guess. So he's got 9 points on. He's not shooting the 3 well, but from the floor, he's 2 for 6, 4 for 4 from the free throw line. I always like Purdue to be above 72% from the free throw line. Today, they're at 80% on 20 and 25 free throws. Another thing I really like seeing, well, of course, I think Purdue's out rebounding them badly. It's 35-22. No surprise there if you watch the game. Murphy just had a sweet shot in it. His shot looks so good even when he misses, but he has a great shot out of his hands. He misses a 3. Maryland comes back quickly, sails the ball to the corner, heaves the ball at the top of the key. It looks like a CYO ball right now that Maryland's playing, and they reset finally with 15 seconds on the shot clock. Maryland's trying to create some space, but there's no real movement on their offense. Oh my gosh, what an awful drive. And looked to me like Jacobson didn't do anything, and CBS cuts away right away. But Jacobson gets called for a foul on a really sloppy drive by Maryland. So something that I really like seeing in the first half, and I said this on Twitter, was Purdue at one point had 12 or 13 more shots than Maryland with about 4 minutes left in the first half. Why is that a good stat? Well, it's a great stat because Purdue was just getting second and third chance opportunities, which means they were rebounding the ball. That was a big problem. During that 3-game losing streak, they were getting out-rebounded at times, and on top of that, they weren't guarding the 3 well. So how did Maryland shoot the 3 today? Well, they shot pretty well. 6 of 15, 40%. They shot quite a few in the first half. They've laid off it. I think Buzz Williams had no time with them kind of forcing things. They had 2 absolute garbage 3s that they hit. And when you have that happen where, I think one, Fletch Lawyer was on the guy. I know everybody gives, including me, I gave Lawyer a hard time for his 3-point defense the last couple games. He was right on the Maryland player. His shoulders weren't square. The guy's feet were like sideways, and he heaved a 3 and he hit it. I don't disparage the defender for a player that play like that, obviously. But Buzz Williams at one point got so frustrated with his team, and it wasn't just because like it was time for a substitution. He substituted all 5 of his players about 7 minutes ago. Took them all out of the game. By the way, Omer Meyer's at the top of the key, dribbling, creating, 20-footer, misses off the back iron, Maryland rebounds. So some of us, many of us as Purdue fans, really were hoping by this point in the season you'd see an Omer Meyer that was almost automatic in creating his own shot. I think things are a little bit behind schedule with that. Part of that could be that he just hasn't played as much as we'd like to see him play. Wow, look away pass to Jacobson, to Harris in the corner, who hits a 3. That was a fun exchange. So Meyer showing where he's dangerous, and that is his ability to throw. I mean, that was a tremendous pass. It was about a 82-foot pass, a look-away pass to Jacobson, who threw a touch-flat pass to Harris, who hit a 3 on the right side, and that was fun to watch. But back to my point that many Purdue fans thought that we'd see a version of Omer Meyer that was simply dominant offensively as he created his own shot. He's not quite there yet. So it puts Purdue in a tough position because, he's really a natural point guard still. That's the other thing. And that play right there shows what he's best at, and that is creating for his teammates. He can create for himself, but he can create for his teammates. So, like I said, Purdue's going to move on to 18-4. Right now they're up 90-63, and I'm going to talk to you guys a little bit because I feel better about the world than I did last time I saw you. Air Tech is the first one here, and he says it. Phil Davis, we back, baby. Yeah, this was a fun one to see Purdue get their feet underneath them as much as anything, no doubt about it. Marshall says, hey, Dowd, how are you, sir? Adam P. says, early start, right on it. Todd Singer, my buddy, says, seems safe, and I agree, Todd. I think we're in the clear. It's still a timeout. Minute 24 left. Purdue up 90-63. Purdue should fall, by the way, because since the polls came out, they had another loss. They have a 6-day break until they play Oregon at Mackey next Saturday, just FYI. So playing a game that you get some confidence and you get your feet under it, probably perfect timing. And then they have a week of practice where supposedly they had a players meeting. And I didn't love the sound of the report of the players meeting, to tell you the truth. I don't know if you heard it, but it didn't sound like one of those fiery, guys getting at each other. It was more like, yeah, we're just going to keep doing what we do. And I'm like, I know this team's better than they've been playing, but I don't want to hear more of the same. I just didn't want to hear more of that. Maryland shoots a 3 in the right corner, missed. More sloppy basketball. Purdue can't get the board. And another sloppy drive for Maryland. Purdue gets a rebound this time. Murphy comes up with it, gets it over to Meyer, crosses the half-court line, and takes some time out, gives it back to Murphy, where Purdue will really run a kind of an ugly version of their offense. Daniel Jacobson at about 22 feet, holding the ball at his waist high. Omer brings the ball back out with 7 seconds left on the shot clock, pulls a deep one, and he hits it. So I am probably behind you guys just because I'm streaming on YouTube TV, which is slow. But Meyer adds to his point total. Where will that put him? Meyer now has, 9 points. So this is going to be one of those nice-looking box scores where so many guys are getting involved. Harris has 12, Meyer with 9, Jacobson with 8, Fletch with 29, Smith with 19, Wren with 7 and 10, like we said. Purdue has an unproductive possession. I didn't even look at it. And now Maryland comes back with 18 seconds left. And Purdue grabs a loose ball because Maryland's extremely sloppy right now. It's got to make a guy like Buzz Williams insane. By the way, Buzz Williams left Texas A&M after 5 years. 5 seconds left. Purdue's going to win 93-63. This game goes final. Yes, it's officially final. So Purdue does improve to 18-4. It was a close one, ladies and gentlemen. Wasn't really. All right, so let me get back at this. Andy in Colorado says finally a proper get-right game, and that really was. Like I said, 6 days of practice to get things right. All smiles on the Purdue sideline. Body language looks good. TKR looks upset for some reason. But good game for Purdue. Let's see. Let's keep going. Joe Inslee says, what would have happened if Painter had listened to all the people who wanted to bench Fletch? Yeah, so there's a huge Purdue contingent that wanted to bench Fletch. On one hand, let's be real fair. Let's be honest. It's a results-based game. Painter's a results guy. He really is. And he's a loyal guy at the same time. I'm sure he's fighting himself a bit. Everybody knows, who has half a brain in their head, that Fletch has a long way to go, meaning he's going to have a lot of good games just to get his averages back where they are and where they have been. He's played a ton of basketball, boys and girls. And I said that. I had someone call it my character, which is effing ridiculous. I'll say that. And because I was critical of Fletch, who deserved people to be critical of him because he was playing so poorly. That's where my beef was. All right. But to be critical of Fletch's play is a fair thing because he was not playing well. He was not shooting well. His defense was tough. In today's game, he got right. Because he got so right, Purdue got right. And that's not a coincidence. I said this to a pal of mine. Earlier in the season, TKR was out, and Purdue was bad when they didn't have an offensive flow. Did he miss 1 or 2 games early in the season because of his hip? And I would argue his hip probably still isn't right. And I would argue that Smith's ankle still isn't right. And I don't know if Fletch is completely healthy. I haven't heard anything otherwise. But it's a long season. And when Purdue's big three, and you can add Clough in there, when Purdue's big three, if one of them's out, it's a different team, right? If Fletch is playing, but he's not playing like he's been known to play, meaning not hitting open shots, I think that's not a lot to ask for that guy because he's good. But when he's playing, he's not playing up to full snuff, you're going to see a difference. And we've seen it this year. Purdue needs all these guys to play. It's a talented team. It's a deep team. But if they're not going to play up to full strength, bad things are going to happen. And so let's see what other game we got on here. So anyway, if you don't start Fletch today, I would bet Fletch would have come off the bench and rained fire on Maryland. So I don't mean to take away your heat there, Joe, but I think Fletch was just due, and he was going to do it. He was going to do it one way or another, off the bench or starting. And that's the problem. That's what Matt Painter talks about, the start, where he's never that worried about who's starting and who's not. We as fans are always more worried about it. I think what a lot of fans wanted is they wanted a lot of Fletch's minutes taken away. And I don't think you were going to see that. Further, you probably weren't going to see Fletch lose his starting role just because I think the funny thing is, Paint said, what did he say in that press conference? I need to find 5 guys who are going to play 40 minutes. And a lot of Purdue fans were bothered by that comment because they're like, well, these are your guys. What you need to find a team that is motivated and doesn't fall asleep and look like they're drifting through the game at times, right? And so he found that today. Purdue did not let off the gas. That's a big thing. Matt Keller says Murphy is finally playing. It's good to see. What did Murphy finish with? Did he not get any points on the board? No, he had 2 points. Okay, he had 2 points. And I think he was 0 for 2 from 3. Yeah. So, and I think every Purdue fan really wants to see Murphy get more minutes just because you want to see Murphy get more minutes. He transferred in. He's a dead-eye shooter, and there's more to this story that we don't know. And there's so much we don't know, by the way, about what has happened to this team the last 3 losses. A lot of people have guessed. You can throw things against the wall, but you really don't know what's going on. But they've guessed there's something wrong in the locker room. I would say there's something that looks like there are people that are frustrated, maybe not with each other, but frustrated with themselves. You think Fletch Lawyer, here's the thing. Fletch Lawyer is a competitor, and Fletch Lawyer is a guy who talks like a coach. Do you think Fletch Lawyer wasn't critical of himself during that swoon? I guarantee he was. And you'll probably hear about it in the press conference if you choose to listen to that. Fletch Lawyer he's not a bullshit guy. He doesn't do that. And I bet he was pretty upset with himself. Switch this game real quickly. Yeah. Oh, darn it. Sorry, I'm trying to do 2 things at once. I should never do that. So let's go. Boiler Melissa, how are you? Good to see you. Says February Fletch is alive and well, and February Fletch is real. It's good to see. Airtech says, do you have a code for home field? I love their stuff. They don't give codes out anymore. It's a good question. I appreciate it. They don't do that anymore. I wish I did. I wish I had a discount code. We don't actually. I mean, they're kind enough. They give us some stuff at the beginning of the season, which is awesome. And we kind of load up so we have stuff during football season, but we don't have a code either. So, yeah, I love their stuff. I agree with you. I think they make great stuff. But I don't have J Money coffers just sitting around to go jump in the home field cart and get whatever I want. So I got to be choosy when I do it. So I'm sorry for the bad news. Michael JB says, Fletch and Frampton comes alive. Yeah, exactly. Maybe he was rocking out to a little Frampton before the game. Who knows? I don't know. He might be that guy. Boiler Up Hammer Down says, don't know if I'm late or not. Still at the Maryland game. Great to see Lawyer hit the reset button. Yeah, that's kind of cool that you were there. One thing I said, if you were you could probably gauge a little bit better than we can about what the vibe was today. It didn't look brutal at all at Maryland. It didn't look like their fans were really all that brutal. But let's not forget, I think it's one of the rudest. I'm not saying excuse me, but one of the least classy student sections we've ever seen historically. And they've done things over and over historically that were beyond the pale. I don't forget stuff like that. And I know it's different kids because kids graduate, but I feel like there's a problem at Maryland with these kids just being D-bags, and I'm glad Purdue ran it up on them. I'm really glad about it. Mark M3 Adjuster says, we also have had a Liam Murphy sighting. Good to see. With plays called for him. That's a good point. Yeah, so that's part of the deal where some guys are featured, obviously, in the offense. You can't feature all 5 players. You really can't. So plays being called for a guy, that's really cool to see. And, yeah, that's a good point. He continues, says, the Jacobson 3 was nice and in rhythm. Yeah, he had that left side 3, not a lot of arch on it. Bruce Pearl, in all of his wisdom, talked about that. So when you compare a beautiful 3 like Liam Murphy has just an amazing stroke versus Jacobson, who doesn't have the prettiest shot, but it's very effective. He's a good three-point shooter, especially if teams are going to leave him open. That may be a big weapon next year. Hope to see that. Boilermaker 6359, and I don't know who you are, sorry, says no CJ turnovers in 15 straight games. That's that stat that I was trying to find. Thank you for bringing that up. That's awesome. Appreciate that. Kyle Thomas says Saunders was the guy we targeted in the portal. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, they did. And yeah, he probably would have been in a little bit better position to succeed at Purdue with the way the Purdue lineup is designed, but it didn't work out. And there were 2 guys that I thought. There was another guy. Trying to think. There was one other guy outside of Clough, including Saunders, that Purdue went after. Can't remember who it is. Don't care. I don't dwell on that stuff too long anymore. I used to really dwell on it when guys would change their mind or look like a Purdue lean and then it wouldn't happen. I don't care anymore. I really don't follow recruiting all that much until they're signed. Just doesn't do me any good. Good on you guys who still do. I'm not telling you not to, but Joe Ensley says, shout out Mrs. B Dowd. And she's asleep. She's done. So, but thank you. Matt Geller said, I think it's Fine time. Yeah, I don't think we saw Fine, did we, today? If we did, I missed him. Williams says, the Mighty Ducks line change had me giggling. Yeah, that was pretty funny. Let's see. I'm going to scroll down here a little. Denver Graham says, at the risk of being a Debbie Downer, Purdue did what they were supposed to do today. I'll reserve further judgment until after the Nebraska game. Okay, so I was ready for this one because I did some research. Purdue was favored by 14.5 points. Purdue wins by double that. So they did more than just handle their business. And I understand your point. Maryland's not good, but to shellac a team by 30, it's pretty good. You can't do much more than Purdue did today, right? You really can't. The only thing you can do more is have everybody in double digits, everybody in double figures that started, right? So I'll take a little bit. I'll take a little bit of umbrage there. I think Purdue did what they should do, could do there. So let's see. Let me get down a little bit. I am Saluki says, in Fletch we trust. Great to see. Blake Vidmer says, about time. Continues, says, I wore my Fletch freshman need a lawyer NIL shirt today. I love that shirt, by the way. And I don't think they sell it anymore. Yeah, that's a cool shirt today. So you're the key. Blake is the key to getting the victory and getting Fletch back on track. Good on you and good on us. Thank you for your service. Let's see. Eric Johnson says, nice game, but how much does this really tell us about how they'll perform against good teams? Maryland is bottom of the barrel. Again, I'll repeat what I just said. Vegas knows a little bit. Purdue doubles up the how much Purdue was favored by. I would say, though, you better be humble as a Purdue player. Not that it matters what you and I think, right, Eric? I mean, like, that's the thing. And I think it's a game you have to have. You have to beat the hell out of the teams that are bad. And Purdue hasn't been able to do that recently, right? Purdue's been able to get leads on these teams and then fall down, just kind of let the game kind of fall back into it. Number one, Maryland was not that motivated at the end of the game. Didn't look like it to me. And that could be because of Williams' sub patterns. They were unusual. He was frustrated with his team. I would bet that a Buzz Williams team will be very, very good next year. I just think he's a great coach, not a good coach. And I think this is an anomaly. Losing Payne was absolutely huge for them. And if you don't know this, it's the same Payne that, where did he play at? He was at Minnesota, A&M, very good at both stops. If you remember Payne trying to guard Zach Edey valiantly, he's a guy that I really like. He's an absolute specimen of a dude. He's a power forward center or undersized center, whatever you want to say. I think he's 6'10". But he got hurt really badly this season playing for Maryland. So he transferred back into the Big Ten, but he transferred this time with his coach along with 3 teammates from Texas A&M. And that has not been the instant success that some think it is. Some think that if you bring a bunch of players from another place and you've got the coach, it's automatic success. This Maryland team is a sign that doesn't always work. Transfer portal does not always work. If you pay a bunch of money in the portal, it does not guarantee success. I know many Purdue fans have lamented that idea in football and other places, but it does not always work. Typovich says, I'm not going to beat my chest over this win versus Maryland. The positive demeanor and enthusiasm was lacking versus IU. To me, the more important than them winning this game is dudes smiling. I mean, I hate to sound like a mom getting their kids the orange slices for a game, but the fact that dudes look like they were enjoying themselves, that's huge to me. I mean, they look like a team that didn't have fun at all in the last few games, and I get it. Their expectations were as high as ours, if not higher. So let's not forget that. But there are tons of historical examples of teams going through a slide or a skid or whatever you want to call it, a tailspin, and still coming back and playing really well in the postseason. So it's not all lost. But the thing that is lost, the thing that is bothersome, I think, to many Purdue fans, if you're really into the Big Ten championship, Purdue's almost ruled themselves out of the Big Ten championship. Now, if let's pretend for a second they lose 1 or 2 in the remaining games, they could be right there because they will upset. When I say upset, they'll upset the balance of what's happening. Right now, Michigan is absolutely on a tear. They're playing great. But if they do that, there's a chance they could beat all 3 of those top 3 teams in Michigan, Nebraska, and Michigan State. And so, yeah, season's not lost. Obviously not. And if you're a guy who shifted your gaze, you're a girl who shifted your gaze away from the regular season to the postseason, one thing you're thinking of, like me, is what's this doing to your seed? And that's what's bothered me the whole time. That's really what's bothered me. But if you look at, let me look at something real quickly. KenPom, for instance, has Purdue. They're still 9th on KenPom. And I don't know what they are in the net. The net has been out of whack. I've watched it a couple times, or I've looked at it a couple times. I really don't care yet. It's too early in the season for me to care, but KenPom's a pretty good measuring stick, and Purdue's still a top 10 team there. Purdue has tons of work, and like you guys are saying, many of you critics or those are skeptical, whatever you want to call that group, you're saying, prove it to me. I understand the perspective. I really do, but I think it's not a very enjoyable way to live life. So, yeah, I hope they do. I hope they make all the people who are skeptical of this team to look bad. But anyway, Metal Scholar says, "Hey BD, glad to be here and to listen to your good review and content. Yeah, it feels better. Content feels better when it's not angry. Yeah, thanks for being here." Ed Albanese, the Gummy Bear King of Indiana, says, the question is, will lawyer continue to perform consistently? We need him when it counts. And I would say this game is as unusual as him playing badly, meaning going 7 for 10 from deep is crazy. Now, what I think Purdue fans really want, let's see him going 40%. Shoot 40 to 42% from deep. Make open looks, right? I think if he does that and he plays intense, on defense, I think good things are going to happen. And that's the thing. Like, I know he was feeling all the pressure in the world. Like I said, this guy's not a dodo. He's not a dumbass, and he's not a guy who is, I think he's critical of himself. I think he sees his problems. So we'll see what he has to say. Metal Scholar says the NCAA tournament is the dumbest way to select national champion. Okay, so this is just a bigger statement. By that standard, the Pacers would have been NBA champions last year, regardless if it's dumb or not. Okay. And I've heard some people call it random. It's not random. If it were random, coaches like Mike Krzyzewski wouldn't have won so many, right? It's a difficult way to win a national championship, right? Because there's no best of. All that said, it is what it is. It's exciting for people that are casuals. They dig on it. And even people that aren't casuals, it's their favorite time of year. Somebody like me, it's absolutely my favorite time of year because I love the beginning rounds. My favorite feeling in the world is Purdue has done their business, gotten a win, and then I can watch basketball in peace for a couple of days without worrying about Purdue, right? Maybe you feel that way, maybe you don't. But that's totally the way I am. I just want Purdue to get their dub, and then I get to go watch in peace until they play again in 2 days. So Jerry Huff says, Buzz really deserved a tech for being on the court the whole time. He's always on the court. And there's some guys that are worse about that, about their hit, like somebody said on Twitter, I can't remember who it was, Kyle, darn it, old golden black guy. He said a lot of histrionics from this Maryland team. Start the half, Williams tried to get them lathered up. And so the whole team was really animated, and they had a good 5-point run, and then it kind of fizzled. So they don't have his mentality. Ben Kolodzinski, my buddy, says, that was more fun. Let's do that more. I agree. And Ben, we got to get together like we talked about. Peter Jung says, TKR's facial demeanor looked better to me today. Good to see. There's a lot of people that, including me, that are over-analyzing his kind of his demeanor. And maybe we're being too hard on the guy. But he doesn't look like he's having as much fun. So it's good to see him doing a little bit better. I agree. Lee Fell says, your room looks brighter. It's daytime. So it is brighter. I mean, it's as simple as all the sunlight reflecting off the snow in my front yard. It's tons of light pouring in the room. So yes, room looks brighter. My demeanor looks brighter as well, if you're one of those people who's measuring body language. Metal Scholar says, as such, the goal isn't to go into March as Big Ten champions, but to go into March hot. Agreed. That's what I always say. We want to see the best version of Purdue, right? But here's the thing. I was just reminded by somebody who said when they talked about Purdue's problems the last 3 games. UConn in 2023 lost a bunch of games, a bunch in January, February. If you look at that schedule, it's wild. And check what's the stat site? All the pink games that denote loss, green were wins, tons of them. And they started off January really poorly because they had a couple injuries they had to deal with. And then they ended the season by losing their second game in the Big East tournament. And then they went on a tear, won 6 straight, won their first national championship with Hurley. I think that's his first. And then they won again against Purdue the next year. And that team that won against Purdue was absolutely white hot when they came to that tournament. They were very, very good. I think their previous loss before they went all the way ripped through the championship and beat Purdue was like Creighton or somebody like that in the regular season because they won the Big East championship. My whole point is there's not really a formula. There's feel-good things as fans that we have. You want to see your team do well in the conference tournament. But UConn broke all those rules because they were just that good. Now, the question is this Purdue team... Many of you asked the questions about when Purdue raises and lowers their level of play for their opponent. By the way, that's been a knock all season from Boiled Sports listeners, watchers, that this team plays down to the level of competition. They did not do that again today. And yet, many of you are still not pleased with what you saw. So let's all be okay. Okay. Alex Bear says, positive overreaction post, 9-game winning streak to the finish of the season. Yeah, of course. That's exactly. No, I'm not that guy, but I'm happy. I'm happy when they win. And I'm not very happy when they lose. And I wish I was more of a grown-up. And I'm not talking about just like 1 game, 2 game, 3 games. I just wish I could leave my house and not care that much. But I do. So I don't know if you're the same as me or not. Boiler Bugle says, frustrating they didn't have to come to Jesus moment before the game in Bloomington. I agree. Completely agree that you wanted to hear about that and them to come out just punching, and they did not come out versus IU with much fire at all. He continues, says, I'd rather lose at Maryland than IU. Yeah, of course. Yeah, if we could switch those two, yes. To beat the hell out of IU and then to have lost to Maryland on the road, I think we'd be like, okay, we'd feel better about the world. Didn't happen that way. So got to deal with what we got. Let's see. I'm going to scroll down here. Jerry Huff says, so the question everyone is asking, what's the victory beverage? So I've been nursing this same redemption rye for a while. Oh, no, that's not this. This is a high proof. It's like 125 proof Knob Creek bourbon. So it's, is it Knob Creek? I don't know. It's good. I can tell you that much. It's good. And I'm not just... I wish I knew, and I should have done a better job at that. I owe you guys that. My apologies. It's a heavy hitter, though, so I didn't pour a deep pour at all for that reason. Naptown Nolan says, good to see guys just having fun again. 5-day break in between games. Keep locking in and focusing on the process. I think I love the fact they have a break right now, and I'll like it more if in next Saturday afternoon, evening when I do my post game. I'm going to that game, I believe. I've got a ticket, so I'll have a later post game unless one of the other boys wants to do the post game. But I'll feel better if they come back with another performance like this, where you're like, okay, they're dialing in. They're figuring some things out. And then they'll just have 8 games left, right? And then you've got Murderer's Row comes after that Oregon game. I think right after it. We've talked about it a couple times. Not going to look it up right now. Boiler Melissa says, Fletch is now up to second all-time for threes, and the Boilers up to 252 total threes. Needs just 281 to pass Boogie Edwards. And I think, is it a fair thing to say that's well within striking distance for Fletch? Well within striking distance, especially if you do anything. If you play a couple games in the Big Ten tournament, you don't have to win the championship, and then you play 3 or 4 in the NCAA tournament. That's a lot of games left still. If we say we got 9 left in the regular season. So, yeah, that's a good factoid. Thanks, Melissa. Appreciate it. Ryan McKay says, I think it's Ryan McKay. It just says Ryan Mick says, yeah, they needed that game in multiple other facets besides just winning. Yeah. They needed this game for their own psyche and to get the weight off their shoulder, right? Get the monkey off their back, however you want to say it. So if that's not Ryan McKay, I apologize. All I see is Ryan Mick. So I'm guessing that's who it is. So hope you're well, Ryan. William Nelson says, love the win. Selfishly wish Paint would leave Smith in the game to pad the assist number. I agree. And he did that earlier in the season more, where he would put him back in for a couple minutes to go grab 2 or 3 more assists. And I understand that. I'm kind of, many of you are in the same position. I'm kind of done counting assists. And that losing streak did it for me. I just want to see him play his best basketball. I don't care whatever that means. I want to see all these seniors to have a really, really good final stretch here. And when they come into senior night, I want all of them to be celebrated out. Whatever that is to get there, I don't care. If it's assists, if it's points, if it's TKR just grabbing 1,000 boards and not scoring, fine. Don't care, right? I just want all of them to play really, really good basketball. I want it like, everybody's linking arms singing Kumbaya. Because I can tell you the last couple games, I told you, it wears me out. Negative stuff wears me out. And when Purdue fans are fighting with each other, people are taking shots at me because of my post games, it gets at me. And it shouldn't. And I think that's part of my perspective I got to work on. But yeah, so that's my whole perspective on him getting the assist record. It'd be awesome. It's a cherry on the sundae for me, though. So there are other things that I care more about. But that's okay. Brandon Alexander says, keep building on this against Oregon, going to Nebraska on back-to-back, back on track, and with the right mindset. We got this. That Nebraska team's really good. Even in their loss to Michigan, I watched that game. They're a really good team. And I kind of thought they would crash down to earth a little bit more. They are really experienced. They've got a ton of old dudes on the team. I think their old guys are older than our old guys. Clough is our oldest guy, I believe. Yeah, they got a lot of experience, and it shows. They're really, really good team. So that's a major test. Major test. The Michigan's even bigger test, and the way they play defense is tough. Nobody's like them. It's hard to prepare for a team like that. Downtown is that right? Downtown Indy Boiler. There you go. Went to the IU game earlier this week, just thinking where was the effort like this today? Where was this effort then? That's the question. Good question. And I don't have an answer for you. And I wish you would have gotten to be in Assembly Hall and walk out with them with their chins down, but you didn't get to deal with that. Sorry. Jack-o'-lantern 22, my buddy, says, coming to you from a plane, wonder if CJ Poppins is up front. Yeah, well, are you on Allegiant Air is the question. And I bet you're not, knowing you. I bet you're flying for business. So CJ Poppins is probably not up in the front of the bus. Hope you're well, Jay, and travel safely, my friend. Glad you are tuning in from high up. I tried to do this, by the way, when he did a post game when I was on the road, and I couldn't do exactly what he just did. So I'm envious of Jay Money. Yo says, best case scenario, now run the table. Yeah, that's pretty simple. Just now run the table completely. And I'd say let's be greedy. Not just win every game in the Big Ten regular season. Let's also win every game in the Big Ten tournament, and then all the way through the dance. That's simple, and we'll all see you in Indianapolis. Very, very simple. Jerry Huff says, Lusk and Fine did play today. Okay, I missed it. Thank you. But only just for 1 minute, and only Fine got a shot up, and it was short. So I missed that. I apologize. I was tuned into you guys, enjoying our back and forth. Metal Scholar says, I think Painter might be feeling a bit of the Hummel Halliburton effect. If we're easily winning, then rest the starters. Yeah, so you don't want to see one of the stars go down with an injury. I wish there was a way to do like a pitch count that was scientific, where you'd say, yeah, if we do this many minutes with Smith, we know everybody stays away from injury if they play under 35 minutes, but we don't really have that, sadly. But I understand what your point is. I think bigger than that. Gosh, man, I don't know. So I'm 50. I've talked about this. I watch guys just get slammed to the floor on a routine play. It just happened in Minnesota and Penn State. It's on my screen right now. And a guy slams down to the hardwood, and then he slams his head against the floor. And I see just routine stuff like that. And I'm like, yeah, I just wouldn't get up in the morning. That'd be it. That'd be my last time going to sleep. So it's so simple. He continues, says, Metal Scholar continues, says, coming to you all from Charleston, South Carolina, with 2 inches of snow on the ground. I thought I left this all behind in the Midwest. So yeah, Charleston's a beautiful city, by the way. Great decision, a great place to go. You're going to have a little snow and it's going to be gone soon. But I just saw a video from Myrtle Beach. It was a first-person video. Someone was filming as they were driving like 2 miles per hour down some street in Myrtle Beach, and there was snow falling there. There was snow sticking on the ground, on the streets, and in the palm trees, which is pretty damn surreal. My wife and I have kicked around the idea. When I say kicked around, it's me bringing it up every time, saying, why don't we move someplace warmer, or at least split the year, something like that, when our kids are all off to college or out of school. And it sounds like you wisely did it. But this is an exception, not the rule, as you know. Let's see. I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody here. I think I got everybody. I think I did. And like I said, I appreciate everybody tuning in. I'm glad to be back here in friendly waters where we're not taking shots at each other. Means a lot to me. And I'll say something else. Okay. If you don't like this show, or if you don't like the vibe that we've got here, go someplace else. I mean that. And Jay's on here from 35,000 feet right now. Burley El Segundo, I love that name, says, way to get off the schneid, boys. Go Boilers. Yeah. So, okay, let me get back to my point. If you don't like the vibe here, and you don't like the vibe of the people here, and you're going to start taking shots at other people, just don't come here. Just don't come here. You can go to another postgame. I'm talking about Purdue fans. Trolls are trolls. When I said suck it, IU fans, somebody called me to the carpet on that, and I'll stick by that. The people that are trolling after the game, yeah, get out of here. But if you're a Purdue fan and you're taking shots at other Purdue fans, just go to another place. It's not a big deal. This is a great era because there's so much choice, right? So much choice. There's so many good podcasts out there, and I mean that. Good Boiler Cup podcasts. There's great people out there that are doing the same thing I am, and they're doing their spin on it. But go listen to them, and you'll be happier. Things will be better in life. But I think we got a pretty good thing here, and I'd like to keep it positive. Even when things are shitty, even when we're losing, I'd like it to be mostly positive. And let's at least laugh at the world, right? I mean, the rest of the world. So J Money says, we're so lovable, though, so I really don't understand the issue. Yeah, I think he's talking about you and I. So Jay and I and Anish and Michael and Dave, we're all very lovable. We are very lovable. That's a fact. I agree. Good take. Very, very unbiased take. M3 Adjuster, who's from the South or lives in the South, says, snowed in Dallas this week as well. We all had to wait 3 to 4 days to let it melt. Some friends of mine are in Tennessee. I work right now with a team in Tennessee, and they had 2 inches of ice on everything. My buddy sent me pictures of his poor little dog who didn't want to use the restroom outside because of the ice. So he tried to clear out part of his yard, and then the dog refused to go down the deck steps because there's ice, and so he had to go through all these different steps to get the ice cleared. So yeah, it's tough. And I don't know, can you buy salt easily down in Tennessee or even deeper down in Texas? Probably not. Can you order salt on Amazon and they deliver it? I don't know. Never tried. So I feel a little sorry for you, my friends down in the South, but on the other hand, I'm like, I'm more than that. I envy that you're down there. Because it's brutal in Indiana right now. On a warm day, it's 19. So, yeah, you've been through it. Because if you're down there, you probably were up here at some point. Ed Albany says, let's see. Now, Jerry Huff says first, best postgame pod on the tube. Wouldn't miss it. Will likely be catching it next time in Peru, Indiana. Appreciate it, Jerry. And for the people that are, it really matters to me that there are people in other locales that are tuning into this. And I mean that. Like it's one thing to, people give each other a little bit of problem, but when it gets really negative and it gets personal, I get really bothered. And so I do this because I like doing it. Like I said, there's catharsis when they lose. It used to be that way. It doesn't feel that way this season. But I want to be able to do this for people that are elsewhere, that can't see the games. Even for the further reach, like I said, when I was in Puerto Rico, I couldn't watch the game at all. I could not get YouTube TV to work. I couldn't get the Varsity app to work unless I was outside of the condo that I was staying in. And so I'm like, I want to get the vibe of, you want to get the vibe of the game, you got to turn into something like this. So I love that, right? I love the fact that we meet here and we talk about it. But I don't like it being personal. I don't like that at all. Adam P says, favorite Purdue podcast. Thank you. Appreciate that. So maybe it's because we're all about the same age, similar outlooks on Purdue sports when they play well and poorly. One of the things that's awesome is I appreciate the age thing, but one of my son's friends sent me a screen grab of, it was actually a photo, no screen grab. It was her watching me on their TV on the wall at Purdue. So it was like 4 kids hanging out on the couch watching my postgame after a game. Can't remember which game it was. And it was a loss, though. But I thought that was cool, too. Like, I mean, I wish I didn't service my my group, my age group, as much as I do. But I clearly do. So I like that we can relate, but also it's kind of neat to see some of the young people listening and watching, too. Adam P says, we make it more fun. Appreciate that. There we go. Burley Segundo. Burley L. Segundo says, we watch from Denmark. That stuff matters. That's super cool. Love hearing that. Joe Inslee says, it's way easier to be a Purdue fan outside the state of Indiana right now. IU everywhere right now in the state. Need this bastion of Purdue love for my sanity. Completely agree, Joe. Completely agree. It's rough in Indiana right now. Every damn person has bought an IU hat or sweatshirt. And it doesn't matter where you go, you're seeing it, you're hearing it, and you're feeling it. And it reminds me of when I was a grade school kid having to deal with IU and Notre Dame basketball and football, since they were the same people rooting for those two teams, being in my face. So, but now I should be old enough to not care, but I'm not. So, Doug Linda Auer say, Tennessee Mountains here. Yeah, can buy ice melt at Walmart. Good to know. Love your podcast. Try not to miss it. Even and I don't even have anything to add. Navy vet. Awesome. BSEE class of 73. That's awesome. Thanks for serving. Really appreciate that. And thanks for the update on how to buy ice or how to buy salt in Tennessee. It's good stuff. Bob Podell says, enjoy your podcast from Florida. Keep up the great job. Man, the reach is awesome. Love hearing this. Love hearing about people listening in other states. Let's see. Go down here. Brandon Alexander said something. I missed it, I think. I did. I can't find it. Dang 2234, whatever says, left my wallet in El Segundo. That's exactly what I think. Burley El Segundo, I think of Tribe Called Quest. I'm with you there. So let's see. January's over, guys. It's a good point. Somebody just said that. Yeah, Tribe, y'all. Yeah, I'm a big Tribe Called Quest fan, so that's fun to see. And if you're younger and you haven't listened to Tribe Called Quest, listen to Tribe Called Quest. If you like rap at all, listen to old Tribe Called Quest. You're not going to go wrong there. You just aren't. It's killer. Every album's great. Literally every album. It's awesome. So Brandon Alexander says, the thing that makes this Purdue podcast different is the community and family dynamic. Agreed. Ton of Purdue podcasts Purdue podcast of quality, but this is really the only one that has a strong community feel. And I agree. And that's special stuff. Special. I don't want that to be ruined. Sure, families fight. Maybe that's the argument. That's the counter. You'd say, hey, Boiler Dad, we're just like siblings. That was gnarly. There's some stuff happening that wasn't good, and I don't like it. And I mean it. I don't make any money from this. I've said this before. Jay, myself, Anish, Michael, Dave, we don't make money from this. We really don't. So if you want to do something else, fine, go do something else. Good. Go. Life is too short to be upset. Go find some peace. Go find a place to hang out. This is a good place to hang out. You don't need to throw bombs in here. Jerry Huff says, so now that the NCAA rules stink, is Lance Jones coming back for another run? I don't think Lance has any more eligibility. I think he's completely exhausted it. Carson Edwards has eligibility. Glenn Robinson has eligibility. He may be a little bit beyond his prime. And there are other Boilers that have eligibility, and I hope Purdue doesn't do it. if I'm being just real frank. I don't want to see it. Just because everybody else is doing stupid crap doesn't mean I want to do it. And I'm so disheartened when I see the NCAA rules and the allowance of guys coming back. The guy that played, 20 games in the NBA now wants to come back to, is it Arizona? I can't remember. Someplace in the Southwest. It's just it's just a sign the apocalypse is upon us. Stuff is bad, and they're ruining college basketball. So I don't like any of it. Ty Brenneman, who has not talked today, says, bit outside of basketball, but I'm an incoming Purdue freshman at the end of this year. Got any tips? Yeah. Okay, here's a big tip. Understand that you're going to the greatest school in America. You've made a brilliant choice. What you do with it is up to you. But I can tell you, all these people in this margin would say the same thing. I'm so fond of Purdue. I met my wife in high school, but we solidified our relationship at Purdue. Purdue is very special to me. So take every day as a blessing. It just is. I'm not a guy who says best days of our lives, whatever, but college is special, and Purdue is a special place. Just soak it up. Enjoy it. And when it's this time of year and it's really windy, stay away from the math building. It's so cold underneath the math building when it's sub-zero. That wind tunnel that they created to keep computers cool back in the 60s. I know I'm exactly right about that. There's big vents on the underside of the walkway through the breezeway under the math building. Stay away from it when it's cold. That's the biggest advice I can give you. It will make your life better. Your skin will not feel like it's going to fall off your bones because of the cold. But in all seriousness, you made a great choice. Purdue's an awesome place. And I hope you're as blessed as I was there when you go. Prestoni says, don't spend all of your dining dollars in the first 3 weeks. Very good. See, that's something, we didn't have dining dollars when I was there, but that's a good one. My son is there right now. So he's a sophomore. So you guys should connect. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. That's it. I'm going to call it off. Oh yeah, there you go. That's a good one. Mark says, fans today booed the G League player, Bediako, and called him a dropout. That's funny. So, yeah, that's good. That's one of the guys who's part of the problem. Definitely part of the problem. No doubt about it. So welcome to you, Trey. I think it's Trey. Yep. To the Purdue family. And you probably already had a member of your family that went to Purdue. I'm just guessing because most of you don't just slip into it. So this is a long post game, 57 minutes, but it's worth it. Congratulations, Trey, on making a great decision. And I really hope it's as great as it was for me. So, and you probably will get a job because of that piece of paper you get at the end of the time. That's one thing. It's a very pragmatic degree you're going to get in the next 4 years. So God bless you, everybody. Hammer down. Talk to you soon. Purdue is now 18-4. I got the record right, I think, this time. Next up, Oregon in 5 or 6 days, depending upon how you count them. So a little bit of break now. Hopefully we'll have some sort of basketball beat type podcast in the next few days. Hopefully we do. Till then, we'll see you. Later, guys.